One of the more mysterious factions in Genshin so far is the Hexenzirkel, a group of witches who seemingly have near godlike powers but have yet to be fully revealed. But this video isn't about the enigmatic group of witches. Instead, we're going to talk about a group that seems to be the antithesis of the Hexenzirkel. A group that seems powerful enough to actually oppose them and perhaps even has members that mirror the Hexenzirkel themselves. In this video, we're going to talk about the group Skirk belongs to. Before we dive into the depths of the abyss, if you want to see more Genshin Impact content, do consider subscribing to the channel. Just to set the scene, the world of Tevat is one filled with gods and men. Even among the powerful gods are those of varying ranks. There are gods who are subservient to the archons, and the archons are in turn subservient to Celestia. For the most part, humans are said to be at the bottom rung of this hierarchy. Even those with visions aren't anywhere close in power to the gods that wield the Gnosis. But among these mortals, there seem to be secretive groups with members that function at or even above the level of the gods. The Hexenzirkel is one such group. However, there has recently been hints that another group might exist. One that resides within the abyss and seems to be just as strong, if not stronger, than the Hexenzirkel, at least in terms of ability. We learn of this group through an offhanded remark from Skirk, who we meet in Fontaine. Now, just to be clear, there isn't much known about them, and the term group is kinda loosely used here, but it'll make sense later why I refer to them as such. Let's first start with Skirk. After fighting and subduing the all-devouring narwhal, Skirk appears almost out of thin air and proceeds to easily capture the beast and send it back to her master. More on him later. Not much is known about Skirk at the moment, but in the short interaction we had, she was easily able to tell how strong Novelat and the Traveler was. She also let it be known that the only reason she is even speaking to both of them is because she perceives them to be at the same level of power with herself and thus worthy of her attention. Chal has also previously mentioned that in the time he trained with her, she had never lost to him even when holding back considerably, and would often not speak to him due to their gap in power. Despite her tremendous strength, we learn in this conversation that Skirk herself has a master, a person who she refers to as Sertalogi the Foul. By the way, there's going to be a lot of references and names that come from Norse mythology, and I will be butchering these names because I don't know how to pronounce them, so just give me a pass on that. Upon Sertalogi's mention, neither Novelat nor the Traveler is familiar with it, which Skirk finds odd. She believes that her master, given his achievements and presumably strength, should be someone of great notoriety. Skirk explains that Sertalogi is similar to renown to Vedrfolnir, or perhaps Rhindaughter or Gold, the latter of which we know of. She goes on to also say that her master is similar to Gold in that he is in search of perfection, and that the narwhal, the monster that almost destroyed an entire nation, is essentially just her master's pet, further showing how strong this person might actually be. Because of this, it's probably reasonable to assume that Sertalogi is similar to Rhindaughter in that he is likely to be an alchemist. Now, what sets him apart from the Hexenzirkel is his name. Sertalogi is a name taken from Norse mythology and can refer to the sword of Surtur, the fire giant who destroys the world at Ragnarok. Or it could also refer to the flame that Surtur uses to destroy the world instead of the sword. What's interesting is that Surtur's sword has another name, the Twilight Sword, which happens to be Dainsleif's title. I've seen a post which I'll share in the description where some have speculated that Sertalogi is in fact Dainsleif, and there might be something to this. Dainsleif has intimate knowledge of the Abyss and also originates from Khaenri'ah, which is heavily influenced by Norse mythology as well, though this whole idea is just speculation. Given Dainsleif and Sertalogi have close ties within the Norse mythology, it's also possible that both originate from the same place, but Dainsleif is on the side of good while Sertalogi isn't. I mean, his epithet is literally Sertalogi the Foul. Neither of these ideas can be confirmed though, but I thought it to be relevant enough to bring it up here. Another name that Skirk mentions is Vedrfolnir, which is yet another figure within Norse mythology. It is not explicitly mentioned that Sertalogi and Vedrfolnir come from the same group, but given both their names seem to have been taken or inspired from Norse mythology, I'm inclined to believe they are in the same group, or at the very least are affiliated in some way. This is what I mean earlier that the term group is kinda loosely used. Now, if Sirtalogy is the analogous opposite of Rhine-daughter, Vedrfolnir is likely the counterpart to Barbeloth, Mona's master, or perhaps even Nicole, and here's why. Before we even hear his name, in Fontaine, we actually meet with Mona, who tells us about the Fontaine prophecy. Given the prophecy is something that encompasses the fate of a whole nation, Mona claims that it would take a person of exceptional skill and ability to be able to even see such a future. A person would essentially be considered a visionary to be able to do so, someone of such great power that goes far beyond what a normal astrologist is capable of doing. Right after this explanation, a couple of cutscenes later, when we meet Skirk, we hear Vedrfolnir's, the visionary's name, being uttered. I don't think this is a coincidence. Given Skirk learnt of what was happening in Fontaine through her master, it's likely that Vedrfolnir was the one who told them, given they hardly leave the abyss, at least according to Skirk. In addition, within Norse mythology, Vedrfolnir also refers to a great hawk that sits upon the world tree. Now, in mythology itself, it isn't mentioned that this hawk has a role. In one poem, the hawk is said to just be throwing insults at Nidhogg, while in another poem, it's a hawk said to have knowledge on many things. In both references, the hawk sits upon the world tree observing all that happens. All of this largely points at the idea that Vedrfolnir might be someone equivalent to an astrologist or someone who is able to see the story that takes place within Tevat. This is why he could likely be similar to Barbeloth, Mona's master, or Nicole, the one who guides those who are lost. The hawk in the poems has also been described to be sitting next to a great eagle who the hawk shares its observations with, which then makes me believe that Vedrfolnir may be reporting what he sees to a potential leader or something, but we can't really confirm this. Now, why do I claim that this group, if it even exists, stands in opposition or is at least similar to the Hexenzirkel? The reason is simply because of the two potential members we know right now, both of them occupy positions that seem to mirror those from the Hexenzirkel. Sirtalogy appears to be the direct counterpart to Rhine-daughter, while Vedrfolnir is the counterpart to either Nicole or Barbeloth. They have the exact same roles. On top of that, it's very likely both Sirtalogy and Vedrfolnir are residing or even originate from the Abyss, given Skirk is residing there as well. The Hexenzirkel are often said to carry out expeditions into the Irminsul, and coincidentally, the Irminsul reaches all the way to the Abyss. I can't help but wonder whether the Hexenzirkel is actively searching this group out. Now, despite everything I've shared here, most of this remains just as speculations. This new group could have opposing beliefs with the Hexenzirkel, or perhaps they may even be on the same side. There's a lot of potential ideas that one could come up with. Maybe they are a group who creates fates by messing with the Irminsul while the Hexenzirkel want to prevent that from happening. Perhaps they are ex-Kyrnia citizens taking shelter in the Abyss. They could also be a group of awakened humans who reside within the Abyss and are looking to recruit those who have awakened their true nature like Child. The possibilities here are endless. What we do know is that a new group of players has now entered the lobby, and there are perhaps far more dangerous enemies lurking in the shadows that even the gods and dragons might fear. Let me know in the comments who you think these people really are, and if you enjoyed watching the videos, do consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Thanks so much for watching, and as usual, have a nice day.